Dear friends, it's an incredible source to share with you a holy spark on this seventh day of Chanukah. There is a fascinating detail in the halachos of Chanukah. We know, we've spoken about this in past days, that the way to perform the mitzvah, the original manner in which you performed in Chanukah, the way in which it is still performed in many parts of Eretz Yisrael to this very day, is to kindle the menorah outdoors. You would place it by the doorway to the outside of your home or the outside of your courtyard. The mezuzahs on the right side, the menorah will be on the left side, and that's how you kindle the menorah. Because remember, the menorah is primarily kindled for Persuminisa, to publicize the miracle. As such, it must be visible and accessible to everyone outdoors. There's another detail, however. The goal is to kindle the menorah b'soch yud, or lamata miyud, within 10 tfachim off the ground. Within 10 tfachim. So approximately, you have to kindle the menorah within 3 feet of ground level. Now, on a most basic level, or on a practical level, why did Chazal legislate that you have to light the menorah within 3 feet of the ground? Because we wouldn't want people on the outside, in the public, the pedestrians, to think that the menorah was kindled for illumination purposes. Because remember, if the menorah was placed higher, one might say, oh, it's like a street lamp, like any other form of illumination. By legislating that the menorah has to be lit close to the ground, it's clearly not made for illuminatory purposes, because if it was, again, it would have been kindled higher up. The fact that it's being kindled so low to the ground doesn't really serve, again, illumination purposes. It must be that is being kindled for mitzvah purposes. But the Sanzer of the Divrei Chaim Zechusa Yagin Alinu says that there is another incredible and beautiful message embedded in this, because this halach of kindling the menorah within 10 tfachim of the ground, within 3 feet, seems to be at odds with another concept. The Gemara in Meseches Sukkah explains that me'olam lo yarda shchina lamata miyud, the shchina, the divine presence, never comes down below 10 tfachim. And the Gemara learns that out from the Aron, from the Ark. Remember, on the lid of the Ark were perched 2 kruvim, 2 cherub-like figures. And the Shekhinah resided, the divine presence resided between those 2 kruvim, while the lid of the Aron stood at 10 tfachim off ground level. And therefore the Gemara understands from there that the Shekhinah, the divine presence, doesn't go below Yud. So says the Divrei Chaim, I don't understand. If the Shekhinah never goes below Yud, why dafka are we lighting the menorah below Yud, Lamata Yud, within 10 tfachim of the ground? And the Divrei Chaim says something so beautiful. He says, you know what the menorah is? The menorah is like the spiritual beacon. Like lahavdil, if someone is stranded somewhere, what would they want to do? They'd want to shoot a flare or light a fire so that a passing plane or some could see them where they're stranded. Divrei Chaim says, sometimes in life, I'm not where I need to be. So I know it. I know I'm not where I need to be. I know what I should be doing. I know what I could be doing, but for whatever the reason, I just can't get myself out of the rut. Or at least I feel like I can't get myself out of the rut. Well, during the rest of the year, if you want a relationship with God, you have to go out and find Him. Dirshu Hashem imatzo. God makes Himself available, but you have to go out and find Him. Except, says the Divrei Chaim, on Chanukah. On Chanukah, if you're stuck, if Chanukah you're in a rut and you can't get yourself out of it, just light up a flare. Just send out a spiritual SOS. Send out a spiritual sign that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm here. I want you so badly, but I just can't get it together to move towards you. And if you throw up that flare, if you ignite that SOS, the Shekhinah will come to you. Says the Divrei Chaim. That's the menorah. The menorah is the spiritual flare. The menorah is the spiritual SOS. The menorah says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want you to know how badly I want you. How badly I want you in my life so badly. But for whatever the reason, I'm just not able to move myself. So Hashem, I'm going to be very chutzpahdik. I'm going to ask you that because I can't go out to come to you, I can't go out to find you, I'm asking you to come and find me. You're going to ask where you can find me? I'll light my menorah. That way you'll know exactly where I am. I'll light my menorah so you'll know exactly where I am. And that's why, says the Sanzer of, we light the menorah even lamata miyud below 10, to show that sometimes if I can't get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He loves me so much that He's willing to come to me even if I am lamata miyud. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is willing to break His own rule, kiviyachol. Hashem said, I don't go down below 10 tfachim. I reside at the kruvim. That's it. I don't go any lower than that. But when a Yid is in distress, when a Jew needs his God, when a Jew needs his Father, and the Jew doesn't understand how to move himself to God, God moves Himself to man. That's the power of the menorah. So as we think about kindling the lights, we all have those moments where I know I need to be more. I could be more, but for whatever the reason, I just can't get my act together. Chanukah says it's okay. Just ignite the spiritual flare. Just send out the spiritual SOS. And if you can't find your way to Hashem, the Ribono Shel Olam will find his way to you. Wishing everyone a lichtige Chanukah and a good Chodesh.